Good morning, family. It's been a few years since I've done a video just sitting on my stoop. But I got up a little early and I had some things to do today here at the house, and I'm waiting for my wife to get back with a truck because we got to pick up some new appliances. And as I'm waiting, I figured I would share a word with you because it's been a crazy week. Today is Thursday and it's been a crazy week, but I'm gonna get right to the point. And before I get right to the point, let me give you a little preamble. What I'm about to say, or what I'm about to get into in making my point, excuse me, some of you might feel offended, some of you might feel some kind of way. Two things. One, know that it is not my intent to offend anyone. Two, I don't care. If you do get offended, it's not me saying something offensive. Maybe I'm saying something that you need to check yourself for. So with that, I guess, warning label, if you will, I'll get right in. Hopefully these chirping birds won't be too loud. I debated whether or not I wanted to do a live, but the reason why I chose to just record this flat out is because maybe when I get into the crux of what I'm talking about, people will have their opinions and then post them in real time, and then I'm countering opinions, and I just want to get the point out. So I may actually start doing less lives and more just flat rollout videos. But in any case, here's the thing. I said before, this has been a crazy week. And the reason why this was a crazy week was because I had to go to the DMV. I recently acquired another car, and I had to change the title over. I acquired the car flat out. And so I had the pink slip, but I had to transfer the previous owner's name into my name on the pink slip. As you well know, DMV, or here in New Jersey, we call it the MVC, the Motor Vehicles Commission, but I'll just say DMV because it's easier for people outside of Jersey to understand, probably people inside Jersey too. Anyway, so I had to go to the DMV. Now, I'm all about accountability. So I show up at like 5 o'clock in the morning on Monday. Get there, there's nobody in the parking lot. I think there's maybe one other car in the parking lot. I was like, I'm in there. And I get out the car, I walk up to the door just to, just they got signs posted and whatnot. So I want to, read the literature or whatever. And big, bold block letters, closed until July 7th, which was Tuesday. So I was like, damn. So I had to go home, go back to sleep, fortunately, and then just get rested and then go back on Tuesday. So Tuesday, I get up and I go there, and there are like 50, 60, maybe 70 some odd people ahead of me already there. At 5 o'clock in the morning when I get there, there are like 60, 70 people already there. So I'm still close. I wasn't like, if you saw the news with all these lines wrapped around the building and around the block and up the street and around the corner and around the world and I can't find my baby. No, that wasn't me. I was right up on the spot. So Tuesday, when the spot opened up, it still took me another couple hours to get inside. So they opened at 8. I was there since 5. Basically, I stood outside for about 4.5 hours. And when I got inside and I got to the reception desk, she wouldn't accept, as per her supervisor. So she says, one of my documents was a copy and they required the original. So I waited 4.5 hours. I waited 4.5 hours just to be turned away in less than 10 minutes. I was heated. I have a whole episode my next episode, which will be coming out later on today for my podcast, The Ice Talks, will explain that situation. But in any case, I was heated, but I went and did what I had to do to take care of that business, so that yesterday, Wednesday, I'm back at the DMV. But this time I was like, yo, if there's like 50, 60 people there at 5 o'clock, I got to get there a little earlier. So 3 o'clock, I'm pulling up into the DMV. And guess what? There's still people there. But this time, as opposed to 50, 60, 70 some odd people, there's only like 20, 30 people. All right? So, but now I'm out there 3 o'clock in the morning. And then, a couple hours later, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, the people start showing up. The line is forming. I'm there at 3 o'clock. It wasn't, like I said, like a couple hours later, that's when the line started wrapping around the building. But guess what? When that joker opened up at 8 o'clock, I was inside by, say, 8:30. And the only reason why it took so long is because they were letting people in like groups of 10, 15. So I got in and then once people get inside, they got to start doing their thing, and then the workers are working. So these things take time. So I got in about 8:30 and got to the receptionist. And actually, I just told it was a different lady, and I told her what I needed to do. She gave me the form I needed, and I actually got to go to the counter where somebody could actually do what I needed done. And then I provided the original document that was required. But the chick from the day before, she didn't even let me get past her. Stinking ass. Anyway, no, so long story short, I got out of there relatively quick. I got the business I needed to get handled done. And by 8:58, I was in my car pulling out my parking space, right? So why did I share that story with you? I share that story with you because for the past, couple days, going through all of that, I see my friends or whatnot, and I've posted a little bit about it on social media. And I've seen a lot of people not argue, no, that's totally wrong word. I account for that, and it's totally wrong word. People offer their opinion about, oh, that's bananas, that's crazy, that's BS, that so many people will be out. The Department of Motor, DMV, they got to do better. I'm like, what are you thinking? First of all, the DMV ain't never been like in and out. It ain't never been like no drive-through restaurant takeout service. You go to the DMV, depending on what you got to handle, you might be there for a while. But here's the thing. This is where it really gets funky for me. Like I said, once I got inside, I was pretty much in and out quick, handle my business, with the exception of the woman from the day before yesterday. Everybody else was good. But here is the thing. Some people looked at me like I'd have never got up at 2 o'clock in the morning. You was there at 2 o'clock. You woke up at 2 so you could be there at 3. And you stayed outside and you waited for 5, 6 hours. Yeah, man. Yeah. And there were people there before me. There were people there from 10 o'clock the previous night, camped out. And I kind of got an understanding why certain people do these things. And I'm be honest, I used to laugh at people who would, and I still kind of will, laugh at people who stay outside in all kinds of lines for tickets to a movie or a concert or Jordans. Thank you, by the way. My Nike stock portfolio thanks you for those of you who like to stand in line to buy Jordans. Thank you. And iPhones and so on and so forth. I get it. I get it. Now you might be saying, what you get? I'm going to tell you, I get it. See, and this is the part where people might get offended. But I've been saying this, and I realize I've been saying this for years. So this is just another example of something I've been saying for years. And that is this. Successful people will always be in the minority because successful people are the ones who are willing to do more than everyone else. Successful people will always be in the minority because successful people are the ones who are willing to do more than everyone else, right? The successful people as far as these trips to the DMV, yeah. Monday, brain fart on my part. Tuesday, that woman could have took my paperwork and let me get the hell up out of there and get my business handled, but she didn't. It was an obstacle. I dealt with it. Got a podcast coming out about it, episode coming out about it. You'll hear about that later. Yesterday, went there even earlier. Got in earlier. Got out earlier. While everyone else who got a good night's sleep, who was also rested, got to stand outside in the sun, in the line, wrapped around the building. Some people was very much smart enough to bring their lawn chair. Only difference for me is I was smart enough to bring my lawn chair, and I sat in my lawn chair from 3 o'clock when I showed up till about 7:45, right before they opened up. Then I was on my feet for all of maybe hour and a half or whatever the time difference. See, 7:45, 15 minutes to 8. So about 45 minutes, not even an hour and a half. Roughly 45 minutes to an hour, I was standing on line. And then when I got inside, had to fill out my paperwork sitting down, But let me get back to the point. Successful people will always be in the minority because successful people are the ones who are willing to do more than everyone else. Successful people are the ones who are willing to go further than anyone else. Successful people are the ones who are willing to do what the average person will think is crazy. But when they come out on the other side, it's a whole different ballgame. When they come out on the other side, that crazy person looks like a damn superhero. There are people looking at me all kinds of sideways because they standing in the parking lot, milling around the parking lot. Day before yesterday, one dude was even leaning on my car. So you know what I did? I didn't say, get the f off my car. I wasn't going to cuss. I didn't say, get the F off my car. No. I just turned on the auto start, the remote start. And, people are not expecting a car to just start up on its own, in the middle of whatever. And with the line wrapped around the building, I'm walking out of the building. Yesterday, I'm walking out of the building, got my paperwork done and all my, a smile on my face. And I took my mask off as I was in the parking lot in my own space, not up on close to anybody, was walking to my car, took my mask off so people could see the smile on my face. I'm like, man, what you happy about? I got my business handled. I'm done. I'm going home. So, again, successful people will always be in the minority because successful people are the ones who are willing to do more. The people who were, I consider myself successful for being able to get in and out. The spot opened up at 8. I'm out of there. I was in there by 8:30, out of there by just before 9 o'clock. Yeah, I had to wait from 3 to 8 to get in there, or 3 to 8:30 to get in there, which was longer than I had to wait the day before, but I got my business handled sooner than the day before, right? So that's how I feel I came out successful. Now look at the people, like I said, there were 20, 30 people there ahead of me yesterday. So look at those people. Look at the people who were there camped out since 10 o'clock last night. They were the ones who got in when that joker opened up at 8 o'clock. And they were the ones who were able to be walking out 8:15, 8:20. As a matter of fact, those were the people who, a lot of them had maybe minor issues or what have you. So they got their business handled 10, 15 minutes. They get the workers fresh. They're the first assignments for the workers. So before the DMV people get all funky in their attitudes, they still have a pleasant good morning on their face. But you get around 9, 10, 11 o'clock, damn near around lunchtime, and people start getting in their attitudes because the people dealing with people in their ignorant nonsense all day. I get it. So you get in early, you get out early, and you might have to sacrifice a little bit to get in early. But when you get out early and you come out on the other side, you walking around looking like a superhero. You walking around looking like you made a miracle happen or something like that. My overall point is this, and I'll say it yet again. Successful people will always be in the minority because successful people are the ones who are willing to do more. Period. So if that means I got to get up old dark 30 and go sit and wait. Now I'm not, you will not see me sitting and waiting in line for no phone, no sneakers, no concert tickets. No, I'm not doing that. This was some, like I said, I'm transferring the title ownership of a car into my name. That's serious business. You know, so I'm gonna sacrifice a little bit of sleep so I can go and handle that. Right? Successful people will always be in the minority because successful people are the ones who are willing to do more. Why do I keep repeating that? Excuse me. I keep repeating that because I want you to keep remembering that. Because when you think, nah, I'm just going to fall back and let it come to me. See, that's the problem. People who are waiting for opportunity to come knocking are doing just that. Waiting, wishing. Oh, I wish someday my ship will come in. That's the problem. While you wishing your ship will come in, somebody out there is jumping off the dock and swimming to their ship. That wasn't a curse. All right. Some people are building their own ship. You know, there's a saying that goes, sometimes you have to take a leap of faith and build your wings on the way down. To which I always reply, but what if you don't know how to build wings? You know, so you got to put some knowledge. You got to put some, what they say, you got to put some hustle behind the muscle. So you have your action and you have your mindset. You have to put your mindset behind your action. Because a lot of people think that just doing something without consideration of the quality of what it is that you're doing, you ought to be praised just because you're doing something. Well, a hamster runs around in a circle for hours on end and goes nowhere. But you're going to applaud the hamster for being fit? What did he accomplish? It's ridiculous. So you have to be willing to do more. You have to be willing to put yourself out there. You have to be willing to go the extra mile. You have to be willing to do more than the person next to you. And also, if the person next to you is willing to do more than you, you have to be willing to step your game up and learn from that person. Equate yourself with that person. You have to learn to be ready to seize your opportunities. You have to be ready and willing to learn how to create your own opportunities. I was watching a video, not a video, actually a live, shortly before I came out and sat down on my stoop. Individual by the name of Troy Minks. Not Troy Minks, Minks is another person. Ayo Minks on YouTube. Very funny brother out in LA. And he basically told the story of how he got himself started. And it falls in line with what I'm talking about in a sense, because he realized that he wasn't happy in his life. He was working 2 jobs and, you know, he had dreams of things that he wanted to do. He wanted to be an actor. LA, obviously, right? But he took some time and figured out what he wanted to do, and then figured out what it would take for him to be able to do it. And then he you know what he did? He took the leap. He took the leap. He jumped. He quit his jobs. Both of them. He said in the live, he said that right before, you know, his boss came up to him and said, okay, you could take your break now. And he was like, all right, so had the papers ready because when I come back, I quit. He said he came back from his lunch mad late, and his supervisor was like, you're late. He's like, yeah, I know. What, you got the paperwork? I told you I was quitting. She's like, you serious? And then from there, now mind you, here's the thing. He took the leap, right? And then he said he took a day off, and then he took, well, not a day off. He had forever off since he quit the job, but he spent that day just relaxing. He spent the next day just relaxing, to unwind, to decompress, if you will. And then he started to map out how he was going to achieve his goal. And he sacrificed, man. He broke his lease, gave up his apartment, put his belongings in storage, lived out of his car, as he called it, thugged it out in his car for a year, while setting himself up with auditions and so on and so forth. And he got with, you know, his friends who were doing videos and whatnot. And he began to learn from his friends how to shoot videos. You know, the funny YouTube videos you watch, like, you know, he started out doing it with his phone, but then one of his friends, you know, who was doing it actually went to school for film. So he's showing him how to use these professional grade cameras, and then he started doing his own thing. So once again, successful people, and now, you know, a couple years later, you know, he's living in his own house, making his own money, has his own filming crew, doing his own videos and whatnot, been in a couple movies and some TV shows and whatnot. So he achieved his goal. But once again, successful people will always, street cleaner, successful people will always be in the minority, because successful people are willing to do more. How many of you are willing to just up and quit your job? Now, mind you, this brother is, to my knowledge, single, no wife, no girlfriend, no kids. So he has no responsibility. So he could do that, you know. So I understand not everybody could just up and quit their job, but then some people do. How strong is your faith in your ability to achieve your goals? How strong is your faith in your ability to do what it is that you feel the most passionate about? How strong is your faith? How strong is your faith in your ability to free yourself from the shackles of a job that's not helping you flourish and grow as a human being? Not many. Why? Because successful people will always be in the minority, because successful people are the ones willing to do more. The people who have proven themselves to be successful, and when I say successful, however you want to define it, it could be money, it could be peace of mind, it could be, you know, a happy relationship, it could be spiritual fulfillment, however you want to define successful. Me, people who were living, as the saying goes, living their best life are successful. Doesn't even have to be about, I'm not balling out of control. I'm not making hella money. I got to power wash this house sooner or later, you know. But at the same time, I still wake up every morning saying my life is dope, and I do dope-ish, you know. Because there were times when I had to break down and do some things that most people wouldn't do. And that's the ultimate point that I want to get across to you. That's why I told the DMV story. That's why I told you the story about the brother in LA. Successful people will always be in the minority, because successful people are the ones who are willing to do more. What more are you willing to do to get beyond where you are today? Because you could be comfortable, you could be satisfied, you know, complacency is poison. I'll just say that. Complacency is poison, because you get comfortable, you get situated, you feeling good about yourself. Just checking the weather. You feeling good about yourself, you making good money, and you get comfortable. You find yourself in a nice groove, no pun intended, find yourself in a nice groove, and you begin to relax. And the next thing you know, 10, 15 years done pass, and you're older, and you want to do more, but you don't have the means to do more, because time has passed, and you haven't done anything with that time to improve your condition. And now you're older, so they don't want to pay you as much, because they could probably get somebody younger and pay them half as much, right? So at some point in time in your life, you got to realize that you have to take the reins. You have to take the reins. You have to be willing to do more than the person next to you. And if the person next to you is doing more than you, you have to be willing to step your game up and possibly learn from that person. And there's no shame in that. There was absolutely no shame in that. All right. So I'm going to wrap this up. This went a little longer than I expected, and I hope you've been able to stay and watch it this whole time. All right. I will be, as I said earlier, I will be coming out with a new episode of my podcast, The ICE Talks. ICE standing for Implement Change Every Day. So that'll be out on my main site first, Spreaker.com. Look up the ICE Talks on Spreaker.com. That's Spreaker.com, Spreaker.com. And then it'll be on a few other sites within the next day or two: Apple iTunes, HRJR, podcasts, Anchor FM, Spotify, a few wherever, pretty much wherever you can find it. Or if you just Google the ICE Talks, you'll be able to find my podcast. So that episode will be coming out later on today. And I still have some things I gotta handle. Like I said, I'm waiting for my wife to come back with this U-Haul truck so we can go get a couple of appliances. And again, remember, successful people will always be in the minority, because successful people are the ones who are willing to do more. Be willing to do more. If you want to have more, if you want to be more, you have to be willing to do more. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you on the next one.